And again, you always say that. I think maybe you don't want to be, you're not that confident, but anything can happen. Even though I think there's kind of a difference in opinion in terms of what actually matters in this matchup. I agree Lingering Souls is great, but I think after board it's not nearly as relevant. So I thought if Michael was able to win game one, he would be in pretty good shape to win the match. But obviously, Shaheen is up 2-1 now, so Michael's is actually the one that's against the wall.
It's really funny when you talk to the players about how, when they talk about their matchup, how they think they're going to do. Some players are maybe a little, pessimistic. I can't win. This is not going to happen. Some players might be a little bit more honest or might just have an incorrect evaluation on things. We talked to, Bronduan versus Lundqvist. Lundqvist thought that, I'm going to win all the games that I'm on the play and I need to win game one. That looked like it held true. We saw Prozac versus Miriam. I think Prozac thought he was going to win. Miriam thought he was going to lose. And Ross comes back and steals that match. Shaheen thought he was going to lose this match almost assuredly, and head back home and move on with life and go teach school tomorrow. He's up 2 games right now, and we'll see what the draws look like for this game. So it looks like Hetrick may be on 6 cards right now on the play. It's just funny to watch these results, unfold, and that's why people use the cliche of that's why you play the game.
Yeah.
Because you see things on paper all the time. As you're going to see a brainstorm here in response to the Inquisition of Kozilek, you can think that you're going to lose. You think you can be in a bad matchup, but that's what makes Magic great. Is games aren't played on deck lists.
Yeah, you just never know what's going to happen. And here we have a mulligan from Hetrick's side of the board, but he does have a brainstorm and a Swords of Plowshare. Shaheen leads off with an Inquisition of Kozilek. I believe there's also a Spell Pierce in his hand. So Michael's probably going to hide that Geist. Really doesn't want to lose it. He's got a Swords of Plowshare and a Preordain. Wondering what's more important here, the Preordain or the Swords to Plowshare?
Now that's the question I was going to ask you. You actually beat
me to
because go ahead.
Obviously, Preordain's great, especially when you don't have that much action. But Michael's got to be really afraid of a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic.
Yep.
So I think he's probably going to keep the Swords to Plowshare just so he has an answer in case he needs it.
You can't put 3 cards back.
No.
That's not how Brainstorm works. I don't think it'd be as good then either.
Yeah.
Honestly, but you see him really, really considering his decision because that Inquisition is going to get something.
Yeah.
What is that something it's going to get? As he is going to put his hand face up, you see a Preordain, a Polluted Delta, an Island, a Underground Sea, and a Mirsh's Factory. So Hetrick makes the decision of, all right, you can have my Preordain. I've got a Swords, and then I got a Geist, and I'm going to try to steal the game that way. And he doesn't know what his draws are after that.
And I like that play because if Shaheen does go turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic, Michael has the answer with Plowshares and follows it up with a Geist, which is exactly where he wants to be at. And even if Shaheen doesn't have a Stoneforge Mystic, he's like, all right, that's fine, I'll untap draw, I'll play Geist Trap, and you're only out to it as Forcible.
And so now we do see
an
actual counterspell.
the one of counterspell, yes.
So get that out of here, says Soorani. No, sir, I do not want to play against that card, as he is going to search up here a Tundra, and Hetrick is just going to pass the turn back. So that's a big counterspell.
Yeah, that's
Geist is huge in this matchup when you don't have your own. And we don't know if Shaheen does have a Lingering Souls in his hand or not. We just know about that Spell Pierce and a couple of lands.
It's really huge because Hetrick had to lose that Preordain, and he just has no more gas.
And as you do see, Soorani does draw a Batter Skull. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Hetrick's not, I'm not going to say Hetrick was all in on that Geist, but he has no more pressure other than a Mishra's Factory, which isn't going to win you the game.
We're going to lead off here with a Thoughtseizes Hetrick. You're going to see a hand of Spell Pierce, Swords to Plowshares, Batter Skull, and Flooded Strand. We have perfect information right now. If you're Hetrick, what do you take?
You got to take the Batter Skull, I think.
Okay. No Academy Ruins, just makes it very easy.
Yeah, he knows there's no Academy Ruins.
Okay.
You got to take the Batter Skull there. The hand isn't that great. Spell Pierce, you can play around that. Swords to Plowshare, same thing. It's not that big a concern anymore. Although Shaheen draws a Jace the Mind Sculptor.
And Shaheen doesn't know the 2 cards. You might know about the Island in Hetrick's hand, I think.
Going.
But you see, he's sagging. He's going for it. Spell Pierce me, bro. I dare you.
Yeah. Go ahead. Do your worst.
If you got Forcible on a blue card, I'll let you lose your 2 cards as well to counter this, because if you don't counter it, this threatens to end the game immediately.
And Michael does have a Mishra's Factory, but Shaheen can still brainstorm, and short of a second Mishra's Factory, the Jace will still be able to survive, and then Shaheen has a Swords to Plowshare in order to deal with Mishra's Factory next turn.
Now Hetrick does have 2.
He does have 2, so he could draw a second Mishra's Factory to deal with it.
And now we're going to see a Brainstorm here. Soorani going to draw 3 cards. You see,
wow, Intuition, Lingering Souls,
and a Flooded Strand. So a very, very good, Brainstorm here from Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, wow. So probably going to see. Oh, it looks like a Spell Pierce is going away too.
I think he feels like we're just past the point in that game where that's actually going to be useful. You know, that's kind of useful in the opening turns. And let's say that, for example, that Hetrick does draw Jace the Mind Sculptor this turn. You can't Spell Pierce it.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's gotten his value off of it. How good a Spell Pierce can be moving forward as Shaheen is going to put back. He was thinking Intuition Spell Pierce. Well, now he's thinking a little something different.
I think he might be thinking about Intuition, Lingering Souls.
Just for all three
and just
of them?
go for all three of them, whatever. But again, Spell Pierce isn't very good at this point in the game. And you'd rather go Intuition for 2 Lingering Souls and, you know, just maybe a land within your deck or anything at that point.
Just some sort of mystery card. And he does put back the Intuition. He does put back the Spell Pierce. You're going to see Hetrick sacrifice that Polluted Delta after playing an island. Here comes what looks to be a Tundra.
Do we know what you drew for the turn? Was it a...
I do not know what you drew for the turn.
Was it a Batter Skull, perhaps?
Sacrifice that land very quickly.
Sure if I see one in the deck.
Batter Skull really not that scary right now if you're Soorani.
Oh no.
You know, bounce that token, cast a Lingering Soul, slash it back, move on with life. So you're gonna see Hetrick get a scrub land.
So Jace is still threatening to be. Oh yep, it is a
Batter
Batter
Skull. Okay.
So Batter Skull comes down. Again, not that big of a deal. Shaheen does have a Swords to Plowshares. He has Lingering Souls to protect. This game is probably just going to be all about Jace at this point.
Yeah, which often these games are all about. And what we've known from not only these matchups, but, you know, standard format a couple years ago, is that Jace goes unchecked for a couple turns. There's no coming back from it.
No.
That's why it's so good. And Shaheen's already activated it once and used a Brainstorm. Now he has the ability to unsummon that Germ token. If he does unsummon that Germ token, which is what Hetrick probably does want, you know, Hetrick's thinking to himself, well, I can fire up that factory and get in there at least. You know, maybe be able to finish it off. But we know the truth that that's just not a realistic thing that can occur because of Shaheen's hand.
Yeah. And wondering if he's going to cast Lingering Souls here and flash it back or cast Intuition. A lot of options here. Surprised he bounced the token right away. Thought maybe he might just consider making some Lingering Souls token, blocking for a turn. If Michael does have like a Detention Sphere for Lingering Souls, you still have a Swords to Plowshare to deal with it. Maybe you just want to draw more cards. Because one of the ways people can get out of a Jace battle is if you just cast the Jace of your own and you weren't able to get enough advantage off it. Obviously, he was able to Brainstorm once, but yep, and it looks like that's exactly what Shaheen's doing here.
Well, let's see if the Detention Sphere does play true. He has 2 in his sideboard. Let's see what the draw step is. It's
oh wow! So Detention Sphere attack with Mishra's Factory would have dealt with the Jace. So little risky play there by Shaheen, but doesn't end up costing him.
And now you do just see Hetrick plays a Polluted Delta, passes the turn back. You're going to see a second Brainstorm here, Lingering Souls, a Vendilion Click, and a Marsh Flats for the draw here for Shaheen. So Shaheen is really beginning to pull ahead here. And again, this is exactly what Jace the Mind Sculptor is able to do in these mirrors when it goes unchecked.
Yeah, and now, because he drew another Lingering Souls, he can actually just Intuition for like a Snapcaster Mage, a Force of Will, and the third Lingering Souls if he wants.
Sure.
Gives himself a lot of reach.
So now he's going to attack with 3 of those tokens. He's going to leave a Spirit back on defense, and it looks like we're probably going to see a Vendilion Click maybe on the draw step, and maybe an Intuition as well. It's Ryan's turn to do, as you said, just get 3 cards, some sort of combination of cards that do involve Lingering Souls.
Yeah, click on the draw step probably for sure. Make sure nothing crazy happens here.
And you see, Shaheen says, I'm going to cast this Vendilion Click on your draw step. Take a look here. You see Hetrick's hand. He drew a Tundra for the turn to go along with what looks like, I think it's a Sword to Plowshares. This is his last card.
Sure. So it looks like both those cards would be staying in his hand. No reason for Shaheen to care about them. Doesn't want him to give him another draw step. And it looks like Jace and Lingering Souls tokens might just get the job done here, but we are, so Swords to Plowshare there. Michael still is in a position where a Detention Sphere could help him get out of this game.
Well, I mean, he's not going to get to draw a card right now. You know,
no.
Yeah, the following turn.
Detention Sphere will help clean up some of the Spirit tokens. We know Shaheen still has the Plowshares for the Mishra's Factory, but Michael doesn't. So Michael's plan might be at this point, try to draw either a Supreme Verdict or a Detention Sphere, deal with those tokens, and attack with the Mishra's Factory.
So here comes the Factory. There's the Swords to Plowshares. So maybe Shaheen inducing there a little bit, saying, oh, I need to jump with this Spirit token, and now the Factory's taken care of for good.
Yeah, very nice play there by Shaheen. leaving one guy back. He's basically telegraphing, okay, I'm going to chump block your Mishra's Factory if you try to attack, but in reality, I'm just going to plow it.
And so he uses that as both a land destruction spell and a permanent answer to the Factory, which is something these decks don't have a lot of. So now you're going to see Shaheen cast an Intuition on his upkeep before his draw step, get some cards out of his deck to better his chances of drawing something good. But alternatively, he's going to get that Lingering Souls in his graveyard, maybe Snapcaster, maybe you see him pull a Disenchant to the front, so maybe he does something of that nature.
I like, 3 Snapcasters isn't unreasonable because you do have the Jace, so you can cast Snapcaster, get one of the spells in your graveyard like a counter spell, and you can bounce your Snapcaster if you want to get a little more value out of it.
And then you're really creating some inevitability that way.
Yeah, so I kind of like 3 Snapcasters here. And it looks like that is what he's going for.
I see the gears turning in your head. I see the gears turning into Shaheen's head. You guys are on the same page.
There are a lot of choices I got to make here.
So Snapcaster Mages are the choice of the day here for Soorani. 2 in the graveyard, one's going to go to hand. Yeah, you see, you see how good Jace the Mind Sculptor is. I think we already know that. Now with Snapcaster Mage too.
Way too many things that you could do.
Yep. Now you're going to see a Brainstorm here, a couple of lands, a Thoughtseize, Hetrick with no cards in his hand. And I think, Thoughtseize has certainly outlived its usefulness, but it looks like he might keep it in his hand.
Well, from the click, what's in Hetrick's hand.
He's
just a
now.
Plow, yeah.
I mean, he cast the Plow on the click, so he's
literally,
he
really
played land,
nothing.
so he has no cards in his hand. He's playing off the top of his deck. And, if he does draw a Jace right now, just Snapcaster Mage and get that counter spell back, and maybe you bounce it back to your hand as you've already brainstormed 3 times and your head on the board. Don't really need to do much else.
Yeah, pretty good position for Shaheen right now. He can just start chaining Snapcaster Mages.
You're going to see Hetrick return a Batterskull back to his hand. He draws another Factory. He has just flooded out quite a bit this game.
There's a Factory, and he just passes the turn back.
I guess holding on to that Thoughtseize is not so bad.
Well, he knows, now the Thoughtseize is great.
Yep.
He knows that there's a Snapcaster, so he doesn't really want to get that Batterskull counterspelled, so probably holding it, hoping to draw maybe an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize, but he doesn't know Shaheen has a Thoughtseize of his own to deal with that Batterskull much more efficiently.
This matchup's kind of interesting too here, as you do see Shaheen is going to draw a Ponder, and we're going to get a handshake on that Thoughtseize. So Shaheen is going to move on here to the semifinals, and again, a matchup that he thought he was not going to win. We cut into that game, and he was very dominant. And even that minor play, and this is what you can tell here with Soorani, that minor play with that Lingering Souls and the Swords, holds that token back, and then allows Hetrick to fire up that Mishra's Factory, because it looks like he's going to chump. And then he goes, no, I just have a Swords of Plowshares. I wanted you to do that. I hooked you in. That's exactly what I wanted to occur. That minor play, you can tell that he plays decks like this so much. And, it doesn't surprise you to see 4 top 8s in a row, because he's played this deck every time in Legacy he plays this deck.
Yeah.
So he knows the ins and outs of it, and you see a play like that. When I saw him hold back that token, I was like, why would he do that? That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And Hetrick, all right, activate. Like, I'll kill a token. I don't mind. Shortens the clock a little bit. And Sheen's just like, all right, kill that. You get your 2 life. I don't care. The Factory's gone for good. Now I can turn the corner and actually attack with that stuff. It's such a subtle play, but it's a really nice one, I think.